So in that last chapter, the boys go to a gay bar and just destroy all the glasses, presumably because of the sexual tension that's expressed between Mick and his buddy. But as I was reading it, maybe this happened to y'all, but as I was reading it, it just seemed very disconnected, disjointed. I guess I was trying to make it sound drunk, but I don't know, it just didn't flow. And I can't help but remember some advice from the professor, Steven Pinker, Harvard professor. Talks a lot about neurology and writing. And he gives some excellent advice in a talk where he says that the end of your sentence should connect with the beginning of the next one. And I heard that advice 2 or 3 years after I wrote this, and it just totally blew my mind. And I feel that was a great leap, at least for me in my writing, and even in my communication, to string along a series of images structurally, with the end of the sentence connecting with the beginning of the next one. And that's clearly absent in here, in what I just read. So imagine you take a protagonist, make him walk through a door, and from the door you make him go to the bar, and from the bar you make him go to the restroom, and in the restroom you have him witness men doing cocaine, and then the cocaine you can describe, you know what I mean, like you go dun 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 dun, and the mind's eye in the listener follows through. But what I was doing here is they walked into the bar, the lights were crazy, they ordered a drink. Yeah, it's just very jumbled. And I guess if I were going to give my younger self some credit, it does have that drunk effect of, flashing, gay bar, madness. But I wouldn't write like that again. Anyway, without further ado, chapter 14. It gets more essay-y here. So, chapter 14. It asks, what is a hangover? What is a hangover? A throbbing, parenthetical whisper. The glamorous symptoms of drinking too much. A headache, dehydration, constipation, dysphagia, as it is known medically, from the Norwegian kves, meaning discomfort following debauchery, and the Greek allos, meaning pain. Resaca, caused by too much alcohol. Diuretic, inflammatory, immunosuppressant, irritator, stomach thinner, blood sugar trap, blood vessel blotter, depressant, saddening, sleeper, dysphagia. Damn you. What does it feel like? Like this. Nauseated at 6 a.m. with a 14-hour train out to Genoa that departed 2 hours from when we arrived to our bed from the bar. Barely enough time to throw up and rub our eyes, crumple our clothes into our backpacks, and sling them over our shoulders. We trekked, coughed, crossed the city of Bordeaux on foot, even happened to cross the same bar on the way to the station, which was closed by then. Couldn't round to it. Why would we? Less it was to use the restroom, which we needed. So we dove into an alleyway nearby, under the city's vanquishing sunlight, and took for granted the runners behind us out for an early morning jog, as we opened the draft and let the spray shoot, ow, as foam. We zipped up, buckled down, clicked backpacks on, noticed our shirts were buttoned wrong, unbuckled, unbuttoned, rebuttoned, rebuckled, clicked, wiped the sweat off our brows, but actually, there wasn't sweat, just a cold breeze, and Rick cursed, decided to change underwear, so he unclicked, unbuttoned, unbuckled again, asked us to stand guard, while a whole group of runners ran by the Riverside Street. But Alex and I didn't tell Rick, and he finished in time, okay? And we were finally at the train station. Our hollow bones banged against the ticket counter. We got our confirmation, daily transit noise overwhelming us, the whistles, the construction workers. Nothing was sticking together, nothing was gelling. No two things solid, not even the cracked concrete sidewalks outside past the windows where yellow tape blocked off paths. S'il te plaît, por favor. Where the hell is the platform something something? And then we walked into an empty train car, found a couple of good-looking seats, Alex and I pairing up, crossing our arms, and stretching our legs under the table in front of us, inviting Rick to take two empty chairs facing us. But he was already slobbering on the window across the aisle, opposite to us. To our side, peace and peace out. Then one last whistle, and many iron wheels screeched over train tracks, and an intercom announced we were on our way, hooray. At least the hardest part of the day was over, we thought. Yeah, we hung over. Re pero resacado. Lo que perturbaba, lo que me mató, fue la culpa misma. If we had bought some lunches and some water, the ride would have been tolerable. But we didn't even sleep. Bodies drawn closed, as the curtains of our consciousness were pulled back, eyes rolled out of our heads, and air-conditioned vents above our cinder block heads, filling our holes with regrets. And I remembered the last time a hangover this bad had nearly ended me. Door closed. Got a girl with me. It was the first week of junior year. Rick and I had thrown the first rager in a long string of ragers, infamous alcohol binges. Each passing weekend that brought us more and more people, higher stakes at Pong, and an admirable collection of street signs and broken window glass as gifts from guests that would show up already hammered to our two-bedroom apartment. The first part had set the bar high. The last 2 hours were spent chatting with a freshman whose flair for atmospheric drum and bass matched her lipstick and her eyes. The way she pulled clumps of her olive branch hair behind her ear, how she didn't brag too much or bore me either, how she'd tap me with her cupcakes when it was my turn to shoot Pong, how the corner of her red ghost pepper lips and onion cheeks converged into the corners of her honeycomb ears whenever she laughed, or how, nearing 2 a.m. when friends of friends began to leave and only the true cowgirls and cousins stuck around, I pulled her into my room, closed the door. Lights were off, except a string of Christmas lights that shone, smoldering, fading colors in out, through a strong cloud of turmeric oil burning from a lamp next to my laptop. The hyperbolic beats of DJ LTJ Bookham, like a striped gondolier, rode us from inward shore to inward shore. The girl and I shared a lot in common. We both had deleted photos of our exes from our profile pictures, and had gone well past the rebound stage, well into the recovering stage, but didn't have to talk about that anymore, instead putting our mouths to other uses. She was younger, no doubt, but I was willing to overlook the age difference and her complete lack of pace during the makeout the moment she unbuttoned her jeans. By the time she had dropped her second pant leg, she had her head over mine. Her hand over mine. She could feel the exclamation knocking at the end of my zipper while I brought her shoulders together between my arms and found to bite on an artery under her jaw. "Wait," she said, "wait." What? She didn't reply right away. Didn't move except that her hand let go its squeeze and seemed to grope instead. My whole body shook. I sat next to her and took off my jeans, both legs at once, hoping to veil any possible inexperience with thirst. "You don't shave?" she asked. "I thought all boys shaved." I looked down and saw the effect a 6-month-old breakup had on my hedge. "Don't move," I ordered. "I'll be right back." Drunk, high, pissed, erect, I hacked away at my mangrove, yelling, "Almost done," every 10 seconds. This is worth it, I thought. All the cuts, We'll laugh about this in the morning. We'll start going out. But when I walked out, she was buckling her belt. I think I'm going to leave. She threw her arms into her shirt, and just like that, the night planted a flag of surrender into my skull. Hence the hangover, splinters and smashed rock wedged inside my forehead the next morning. Immensely sick, first, I drained rounds of beer, hard, into the toilet. Then I tried to eat a bite of a banana, but returned it immediately to the bowl of fruit I had lifted it from. Figured some water would calm the spasms in my gut, but as soon as I swallowed, the liquid launched back into my cup. I tried some banana again and unloaded it the same. Tried fasting altogether, but then my body decided to heave the air I was breathing. I couldn't take anything. Only sleep would cure. If not the shame or anguish, at least the physical effect of the night before. Excuse me. My ears caught the spray of American arrogance before my eyes could crack themselves open to see who had woken me up. An older woman, with the gawk of a parrot and nails that would make a phone screen click, tapped my shoulders. "Excuse me," she repeated. "Those are our seats." Alex was asleep. I turned over to him, shook him, but couldn't get a pulse to rise. "Honey," the woman cried, "these bums are in our seats." Disturbed more by her shrill voice than her confusion about our financial or housing situation, I started coughing and mumbling to see if I could say something to calm her down. But the woman didn't take my gargling politely. "Honey," she yelled louder now. "Honey, come quick, one of them is awake. Help me move him." I threw two palms up that said, "Hold up," and pushed myself up to get off the chair. But the seatbelt pinned me down. In the 4 seconds it took to tinker the metal to unbuckle it, try my best to ignore the wailing woman over me and her encroaching ape of a husband from dropping his luggage over my head, I couldn't help but wonder why in the world I had never used a train seat belt before, and why today was the day to begin. The unusual inconvenience of clicking off the belt pacified not the woman, who in the precise moment turned from flushed face to full-blown hysterical at the husband, who leaned over me to say, "Excuse me, do you have your tickets?" Rick had our tickets in his chest pocket. I could see them popping out. "No," I roared. "Are you the ticket inspector? The whole car is empty, if you haven't noticed." Then, casting off the seat belt and standing up a head taller than the ape, "But don't worry, we'll move." I flicked Alex's chin beard and woke him up. "Let's go, buddy." The couple stood dumb, dazed, with their frowns flattened to an awe, while Alex and I took our time dragging our backpacks one row behind so we could glare at the couple in front, then forget them, and meditate our hangovers away. We weren't homeless. The nerve. We were explorers. Hungover, yet overhung, baby. We weren't going to let some ill-tempered, second-rate Americans whine us off-tempo. That was a hard lesson learned from the miserable chiens back at La Ile. There must be some dude bums like us once a generation, I thought. But asshole Americans will be current always. Long chapter, huh?